Ready?
Ready.
Hey everyone, welcome to the latest episode of Snitchin'. It's your host, Kristen.
And Brittany, and get ready for the best part of your day because it's a Wednesday. We got a guest. Her name's Taylor. She's born in 1989. Unfortunately for us three, it is not that Taylor, but she's a friend of the pod. You guys know her, you love her. We got my cousin Taylor on, our favorite sports queen.
Hello.
Woo!
Thanks for having me back.
I also was thinking of that just now. I don't know if I ever realized you also have the same initials as Taylor. TAS.
TAS.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
before you were
Oh,
I knew
married.
that.
And
I
the
knew
middle
that.
name? And the middle name.
Well,
Wow.
not the same middle
Taylor.
name, but
No,
same
not same
letter.
middle name. Yeah.
Oh, but same initial letter. Like
hmm
blessed.
Yeah, lucky.
Taylor, how did you
Um,
feel about escaping the cartel? You were there also for the Mexico wedding.
Yes, I was. I didn't get out until Wednesday, late Wednesday. So I was there for, 3 extra days. It was, I don't know, it was kind of just business as usual in the resort. They were playing music, they were serving the drinks, serving the food, just another 3 extra days in paradise, I
yeah,
guess. Kind of isolated. So, but it was nice to be home, nice to get out of there. As much as I enjoyed being at the pool and beach every day, I got a nice, really nice tan. So I think I'm set for the summer. But
Looking good, girl. And you know what? You're right. The cartel can't stop this party. Not today.
nope.
yeah. Taylor had it worse because she was supposed to leave on Sunday, which is like the day it all went down and they closed the airport. So Sunday morning at I don't know 8 or 9 a.m. I said bye to her. She had her suitcase and everything, and we were like, all right, bye. I guess I'll see you whenever. And then like an hour later, or
We
I don't
sat
think
in
you
the
even ever
lobby.
left. Like an hour
No,
later, I was like,
we
I
sat
guess
in
you
the
didn't leave.
lobby
Yeah, she was in
for
the
two
lobby.
hours, and the people there, the workers there, were like, "There's no cabs coming to get you, and all the roads are basically blocked, so
Margarita?
you're not leaving."
Yeah, we were back at the pool, and then within a couple hours.
That is so funny. Yeah. Well, Brittany was explaining that within the fam, there was like different camps of people. Some people who, business is normal. Sounds like you might have been in that camp. Like, what can we do? We're just gonna, keep it moving. Some that were more nervous. I was just curious. But I'm glad that you guys all made it out safely.
Amen.
Amen.
Yep.
Also, Taylor, I don't know if you got a chance to listen to this week or last week's episode. And also, we're recording this Wednesday morning. You guys, I swear to God, yesterday I was in like a Disney movie. I was so happy walking around outside. Everyone
Ugh, I know.
happy. Spring has sprung. Like
I know. It's
everyone
light
was
out
out.
until 7. Amazing.
Literally try to bring me down. You can't.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
cannot.
Yeah.
Ugh. Everyone enjoy. Everyone get outside. Taylor's used to this because she lives in warm, sunny Florida.
hmm
So, you don't have the euphoria of this week, but you haven't suffered.
Yeah. Yeah. Just knowing that it's like we are at the very start of this, there's so many days ahead. I was saying that to my two boys yesterday because they wouldn't go inside at night. I was like, guys, we're just at the beginning here. We have
Oh,
so many more days to go outside. So many more.
legit counted. I was like, oh my God, this is like starting in April, May, June, July, August, September, October for sure.
Yeah.
7 months of we're going to be outside starting
Bless.
now.
Thank God.
Literally. Oh, I'm just so happy. And we are telling everyone that we think everyone should start a bucket list. We put into the universe that we want to go to Saratoga 2 days ago. Guess who's
hmm
going to Saratoga this summer? Your
We
girls.
are. Already got plans.
Already got plans.
Locked and loaded.
Fell into our lap. So just everyone take a lesson. Let's, put out there what we want to be doing. So, you know, just a little PSA for this Wednesday morning to get you going.
Love it. All right. Well, should we get into our topic? We're going to talk about something that is seasonally relevant, and that is March Madness. I will preface this by saying I know literally nothing about basketball, especially college basketball. Normally, I would have looked up some stuff to make sure I didn't sound dumb, but I've just been too slammed at work and I just haven't had a chance. So, apologies in advance if I sound dumb. But Taylor, on the other hand, went to Duke and is a seasoned March Madness fan, attendee. I don't know, however you want to say it. So yeah, maybe we can just talk about I'd love to know just what who the big teams are, how the tournament works, and like any storylines. I feel like Kristen, you probably know a little bit about March Madness too from Clemson.
Well, you know what? I only watch March Madness during the tournament, and I know nothing about the lead up. I don't follow it during the regular season, so I don't know much about like how it all works. But I think this is good, Brittany, because we can be the perspective of our listeners who might not know anything.
Exactly.
Um, and Taylor's a seasoned vet in teaching us about sports because she taught us all about the PGA and the Ryder Cup. I
Hmm.
still feel, some type of like pride about the Ryder Cup ever since that episode because I totally know how it works and I watched it. So I'm ready for this.
Yay.
Let's kick it off. So let's see. We this Sunday is called Selection Sunday, and that's kind of when the overall bracket is revealed. This selection committee looks at every team's resume, chooses who they think are the best 68 teams in the country, and really when you do a bracket you're only picking 64 teams, but they added these four extra teams to do like a play-in game. So the last we say there's 68, but really I think the relevant teams are only the top 64. Everyone's seeded. There's 16 seeds per region. There's four regions. 16 times 4 is 64. And yeah, the matchups are just 1v8, 2v7, one verse 16, 2 verse 15 in the first round, and so forth.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
you're
and
saying that the best player in each region, there's four regions, plays the worst player, second best
team,
plays second
yeah,
worst, so on and so forth. Got it.
correct. Or like higher seed versus lowest seed. It's not. I don't know if it's like the best versus worst, but it's just how they
Hmm.
were seeded. Yeah.
Got it. I will say, I just think these four extra like teams that they're picking to make it 68, that feels weird, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Kristen, it's all about money.
True.
Oh, it's all about
True.
money. You know
But like,
what?
I wonder, like,
Bringing it
I
back
think they
how
want
again.
to expand it even further, and I'm like, please don't.
I wonder
Don't
how many college
don't dilute
basketball
it.
teams like there are. Like, is that like half the teams? Because I feel like that it's like less
Oh
legit.
gosh, no. There's probably Division 1. There's probably 15 or so conferences, each at least with I'd say 10 or 12 teams. So
Okay,
maybe almost half, but no.
that's
60,
good
yeah,
context.
Yeah,
no.
understandable.
Um, so based on how this season's been going, I'm not biased, but Duke has had a very good season. They're the number one ranked team.
Let's go.
They have the one of the top players in the country playing for them in Boozer, and he is Carlos's Boozer's son, who played at Duke back in the early 2000s. So the Duke
Mm,
genes run deep.
love
Um,
that.
I
so
love that
Duke is
storyline.
obviously a top favorite that you could potentially pick in your bracket. The other couple of teams that I think might be favorited are Arizona, the Florida Gators, Houston, and then Michigan. They've all
Oh,
kind of been really consistent this season. But that's what makes March Madness so great is you really don't know. You could have a bunch of upsets, and
it's just one
any
game.
high seeded team could make a run randomly,
Yeah.
and that's what makes March Madness so great. Other teams who have kind of had a strong season, kind of a surprise, is Wisconsin. And then Gonzaga is always secretly a really strong team in the tournament. They play out in the Mountain West Conference, I believe, but they always do really well in March Madness, despite not having maybe the strongest roster of players. But they're consistent, so they're always secretly can be a good team to select in your bracket to maybe go further deeper into the tournament.
My sister and I always talk about that. Gonzaga is always in the tournament. It's like always a team that we want to do well solely because I like the name. I just
Are they
like
like
the
usually an underdog, like in terms of the regular season?
No, I mean, I don't think their conference that they play in is necessarily really strong, so they always come out winning their conference, which is how they usually get a higher seed. But Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
They
I
just have
just
like
think,
that special thing.
yeah, they're just consistent
Yeah, they're
and have a
always
lot of
around.
maybe a lot, yeah, maybe not a lot of depth, but just yeah, they're all the pieces that they have work really well together.
Okay, I love the Duke father-son storyline. Like that is how I'm gonna be rooting for someone. How cute is that? Like your dad,
Yeah.
imagine that dad in the stands. I would be losing it, but he also kind of understands.
Did he ever win?
He what may have won the 2001
Oh, because that would be just even more special. And
Yeah.
okay, I don't know if this is a dumb question, number one, but like, isn't it not necessarily like the top seeded teams win? Like, it does in a lot of times it's like one of the lower seeds that ends up winning the whole thing just because there is so much like luck and variability.
Yeah, it depends. It definitely depends on the season. I would say that the the top teams, the kind of the ones that I listed, I would think that they're a lot stronger than the rest of the seeds that will be in the bracket, but it really just depends on the season. I would say when you're picking your bracket, one of the one of the factors you can look into is who has been consistent the entire season, who has a good defense, because I still believe that defense wins championships,
Mm.
and who is kind of on a hot streak at the end of the season, who a lot of the conferences have their conference championships going on this week, and so who maybe has kind of made a run in that their own conference tournament, and who might be going into March Madness kind of on a hot streak. And which teams have had a more difficult schedule where they've been tested in a lot of games. They might not necessarily have won all of these games, but they've been tested with against another strong team, pressure packed moments. How do they handle that? Are they used to it? Because there's going to be multiple games that they face in March Madness where it's going to come down to that last minute, and how do they handle that, and are they already prepared because of the regular season schedule that they had.
Huh.
That's kind of interesting. I mean, I feel like that in terms of like the hot streak, that's kind of like the same for NFL. I feel like we think about that
Yeah.
going into the playoffs, like who's doing well. That makes sense. The
Yeah.
Taylor sent us over a video before we recorded this week about like the seating and how they think about that. And I didn't realize like, which makes sense that they put so much weight on or more weight on away games, which
Oh. Hmm.
what you just said, Taylor, like strength of schedule. I might be getting this wrong, but they were saying that like if you play every game, doesn't matter if you play it first, your first game of the season or later in the season, like each one matters towards your seeding. And if you play a team that might be ranked like number 10, but then they start to like shit the bed and now they're like 50, that's gonna then like impact your like ranking because they're not as valuable. That was really interesting. Like, I don't think I know of any
Hmm.
other sport that does that.
Yeah, there can be. I mean, every other sport is kind of their schedules set by the league. I think this one, college basketball, I think the coaches and the athletic directors, they kind of have some say in who they might, want to play in the future to set their team up for those pressure packed games
Oh.
and get them prepared. Duke always has a strong schedule. They played Michigan and beat them this year. They always play, their ACC is always a strong conference, so they're always playing, yeah,
Let's go
Clemson
ACC.
too.
Go Tigers.
So they're always in those types of games, regardless of who their out of conference teams are.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How
That makes sense.
speaking of Duke, and we just to close the loop on this, Carlos Boozer, who we were talking about, did win a 2001 Duke NCAA
Oh, nailed
championship.
it, Taylor.
Nailed it.
Yep, know some things
Um,
about Duke.
How was UNC this year? Obviously, your big rival.
oh yeah.
UNC, they've had a good season, except they just lost their star player, Caleb Wilson. He went down with a broken thumb. So he's out for the rest of the tournament. He won't be coming back, but he's like a top 5 projected draft pick in the NBA. So to lose him is really tough.
That sucks.
But
a thumb, like
yeah, and it was he broke his thumb in like a non-contact practice or something, something
sucks.
weird. But oops, oh well, sorry, UNC.
Yeah, good for you.
Spoken like a
I
true Duke fan.
I will. So my college friends do a bracket like pretty much every year, like since we were in college, and literally every year I just do it. I just guess, and I always pick Duke to win for Taylor. So that's helpful knowledge because now I'll have a little more strategy going in.
Yeah, I think also one thing that I find really fun is historically when there's been a 5 seed versus 12 seed matchup, there there always seems to be a strong upset potential regardless of what those teams are.
Writing
But the
that
12
down.
versus 5 seeds, I feel like always produces some kind of upset where the 12 seed ends up
Mm,
beating the 5 seed. It's weird
makes
that it's
sense.
always like that matchup, but I think if you're trying to choose an upset game, look at who the 12-5 matchups are for this season.
Good
Oh,
tidbit.
okay. That's a good tip. Is Clemson in it this year?
Well, apparently Clemson's not doing very well right now.
Sore subject.
The video told me, they said in that exact example that I was just talking about, where they said if you play someone who was good in the beginning and they're not so good now, it affects you. They happen to use Clemson as an example. They said
Oh, really?
Clemson was doing pretty well, but now they're not so great, so they don't have as much weight. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Big
I didn't watch the video. I'm sorry. I went to watch it. I thought it was
Sorry.
gonna be like a 5 minute TikTok video. I went to watch it. It was 20 minutes, and the guy was talking about like intense scores of like basketball. I was like, I can't do this right now.
Wait, I'm sorry for bringing it up twice because it's totally like me making you seem like the bad student and like I
Oh
did my
no, I don't
homework.
care. Yeah, I was just like, I can't do this. It's okay.
There.
Um,
But wait, do you think Clemson's going to make the tournament, Taylor?
What's their record right now?
Let's take a look. Something I definitely don't know.
22-9? Yeah, I mean, I would think so. They're fifth in the ACC. I don't see why not. They might be like maybe like an 8 or 9 seed.
Okay, we'll take that. We'll take that.
yeah,
Let's go Tigers. Okay,
yeah,
I'm
I'm
But
happy.
upset.
yeah, 22-9, I think that's pretty much you're in the tournament.
Yes. Love to
Let's
see
go.
it. Does
Wait, so
BC make it? Sorry.
I got no clue. Does BC make it, Taylor?
Mm, I don't know about that.
You
Probably
remember
not. I
when,
don't know.
Brittany, you remember when you came to
BC, oh, BC finished second to last in the ACC, so no.
Sounds about right. Yeah. You could have told me though that yeah, the BC's in it every year and they just get out early or like they won 3 years ago and I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah. I
I know
wouldn't.
you are like a proud BC alumni, but my favorite thing is when we went to the BC Clemson game and you wore Clemson. That was awesome.
Okay, yeah, I wore a BC tank top and then I wore like a this like orangish maroonish like jacket thing so it could have been passed as maroon or orange.
Looked orange to me, but you know, we love it. We love the sport.
Yeah, well, it's just more fun to root for Clemson. It's more fun. Like Newton is so stuck up and stuffy about all the games. Like there's so many rules at BC that they ruin it. So I got to go for the fun squad.
I love that.
But wait, speaking of college, Taylor, you got to tell us about tenting because I remember this when you were at school and I thought it was the absolute craziest thing I've ever heard. I might be on the extreme end of that, but I want to see, Kristen, what you think and everyone else thinks.
Tenting at Duke is a rite of passage. It's been going on for 40 years. This is actually the 40th
Oh,
year that tenting's been happening. So it started in the mid 80s. And basically, the students tent specifically for the Duke UNC game that happens at Duke. It is for one game,
oh,
which
got
Oh,
that.
is why people think we're crazy. And that Duke game can either take place at like the beginning of February or the first week of March. So it just happened last weekend at Duke. So you could be tenting, depending on what season, you could be tenting for like 5 weeks, or it could be like an 8-week tenting period. I did it all
What?
4 years that I
And
was
you literally
there.
sleep in a tent on like cement, like a driveway,
It's on a
right?
grassy, yeah, it's on
Oh,
a
okay.
grassy field, like in front of Cameron Indoor. And basically, like you have 12 people in your tent. One person has to be there at all times during the day. So you like do shifts based on what your class schedule was. But one person has to be there at all times because they can call a tent check, and you have to be there to show your student ID and prove that you are there representing your tent. And then at night you had to have, I think it was I think it was six people, or maybe 8 out of the 12 people had to be there every night to
Oh,
sleep.
wow.
And yeah, like you had to be there again because they would like blow a bullhorn, and that would mean a tent check. It could be 2 a.m., could be 4
Oh,
a.m., you never knew. And you had to get up and bring your student ID over, and they'd call you out by whatever tent number you were. And you had to show your ID with your other tent mates, and then you could go back to sleep
so
and
you're
you passed that
probably
tent check.
so you're probably sleeping in a tent like
Kristen's dying.
4 nights a week at least.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Had a sleeping bag, pillow. I mean, Durham can get cold at night. I would bring
Mhm.
hand warmers and stuff and sleep with them in my jacket to stay warm.
Fuck that.
You know, like full blown, like wrapped up in my North Face, 2 layers of blankets in the sleeping bag. Yeah, and then all cuddled up with 6 of your best friends.
I
Wow.
have so many thoughts. Okay, so first off, who is conducting the tent check? Are these like student volunteers?
Yeah, so you like apply to be a
Like
tent leader.
freshmen.
It's no, it's I mean it's usually I think it's usually like juniors, seniors, but I forget I don't know exactly what the process was to be a tent leader, but yeah, so it's a group of, and then there's like one head, like top guy
Hmm.
who basically I think he can like kind of determine when he wants a tent check to be. So um
So you got to be friends with him.
yeah, you kind of want to be in the know with whoever that person is because you could be like,
Hmm.
"Hey, are you going to call a temp check in the next hour? Like, should I warn my tent mates?"
I
But
feel
yeah, they
like
had a little committee of students who were the tent leaders.
I am so curious about like this sounds like military-esque. Like get your tent check at 2 a.m. Like the
Yeah.
bullhorn's going off. Like whoever's deciding this, the power trip. I'm sorry, if I was doing the tent check, I would have the power trip of all power trips. I'm just saying. Like you have the power.
Yeah, it was. I mean, freshman, you don't know what to expect. You're just going with it. So freshman and sophomore year, I felt like were a lot more intense, and then junior senior year, it kind of depending on whoever the leader was. I think it just felt a little bit more relaxed. So not quite as many 10 checks like in the middle of the night, but that could just be my memory, like shielding me from the torture.
Blacking it out. Damn. And like they still have to study and like take tests. Like it's still one of the hardest colleges in the country, in the world,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, I mean, you tried to base your schedule around what classes you had and when, and yeah, you just bring a textbook or a paper, your computer, and take the Wi-Fi from the gym right next door, and do the work. I mean, you're by yourself. It was kind of quiet. It was
Mm.
always nice during the day, so you could sit outside the tent in a chair and do your work.
It sounds honestly like Clemson has tenting. The only time I've ever tented, but it was for literally 2 nights for my freshman year for the Duke game, ironically. And it was so much fun. I remember freshman year, like first week, friend of the pod, you guys know her, Jill. I had
Hmm.
met Jill on my floor, and all of a sudden, Jill, like literally week one, I've told the story so many times. She knows I've told this before. Where like I'm like, who is this chick? She's at a frat party like week one. Then like the next day, she's tenting out for some game. Like I was like, I gotta get in with this girl. Like she knows what's up. And anyway, it was so much fun. But that was the only time I ever did it. So I'm like, I think my shock is the fact that it could go 5 to 8 weeks for these
Yeah.
games. But like, if we were, that sounds like a blast. Like, you must have had so much fun doing that.
I mean, all our weekend nights were spent in Kville. It was just a big party there. You know, you would just instead of going to a frat or the shooters bar place downtown, you would go to Kville and just hang out with all your friends there. And it was
At the
you
tents.
were outside, yeah, yeah. Everyone would, whoever would bring the Bush Natty Lights, and you just drink there instead.
Keystone.
Did anyone ever like not do a good job, like not pull their weight on the team? Because I feel like if I was a part of this team and someone wasn't pulling their weight, I would go ballistic.
Oh, mhm.
No, everyone. Well, in my four tens, I think everyone contributed equally. I don't think I remember having any problems with
Oh,
anybody,
good,
or
good.
not that I knew of. But yeah, everyone was responsible enough and knew what was at stake, so they weren't going to mess it up for everybody because
Okay,
that would
good.
be awful.
Yeah,
And
I would not
then
consider myself a confrontational person, but if it came to sleeping in a tent, I will be confronting you all day.
yeah, and then the day of the game, everybody is assigned a tent number. So tent number one would usually they were like the first ones there to set up their tent, and it was established that they were going to be one. And then based on your tent order, you would line up for the game outside like 4 hours beforehand. It was insane. And you would get in, and the tent leaders they want to fit as many students in as possible. So there's I think 100 tents of 12 people each. So that's 1,200 students there that want to go to the game.
Wow.
And I forget what the student section can hold at Cameron, but basically the tent leaders, like, you're supposed to scan your student ID, and they would purposely scan a lot of the student IDs backwards so that it wouldn't register as somebody actually going in, so that they could end
Oh,
up fitting way
more.
more. Like, if you look at the UN Duke UNC game, the student section is like double capacity
That's
Oh,
compared to all
amazing.
the other games.
How
You
much
can
would it be
definitely
if you
tell.
like, how much would it be if you just bought a ticket?
Oh, thousands of dollars.
Oh, damn.
dang. I mean, yeah, that rivalry runs so deep. Like, I can't imagine all the anticipation, and then you get to the game, and it's like actually game day. That must be
Yeah.
a really heightened environment. What was your favorite Duke UNC game that you went to when you were in school?
When I was there, we won versus them my sophomore and junior year. And I think my sophomore year was probably the best one because I think we blew them out by like 30 points or something. And it was
Nice.
just the greatest knowing that you had spent all this time tenting and then you get to win by,
Oh,
30 points
yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think that was probably the best memory. And then afterwards, if Duke beats UNC, they do bench burning out on the quad. So that happened both years that we won. They burn all the benches out in the quad, and everyone gathers around and like
So they have to get new
celebrates.
benches every year?
Yeah, each dorm or living area had their own bench, like a huge bench that you could sit at and chill at
Hmm.
outside of the dorm, and people would paint it in their
Oh,
own
that's cool.
theme or whatever the dorm name was.
I love
Yeah, and then
college.
if
Yeah.
Duke beats UNC, then those benches get torn apart and burned in a huge bonfire.
That sounds
Oh my
actually so
God.
fun.
So fun. I love that. I love like college traditions. Ah,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like that is part of the reason too. I feel so strongly about like college sports versus professional because the team does change so much every year. You never
Mm.
know. And for the students, the fans, like they change every year. So every year is so special. I just love that.
Feels like more is at stake.
And
Yeah.
my sophomore year, one of your questions, Britt, was what's my favorite March Madness memory?
Oh,
And
yeah.
Duke won the national championship when I was there in 2010. So that's easily my top two sports moment, probably along with the Red Sox winning back in '04.
Mm.
But
Wow.
Love
to be
that.
there
So
as
that
a
was your sophomore
student,
year, right? Was
yeah,
it your sophomore
yep,
year? Nice. So that was a good year for you
yeah,
for
really good
Duke.
year.
That is
Um,
so cool.
so does UNC do tenting for their Duke game?
No, they don't. I mean, their student population is so much bigger that I don't think they
Mm,
they couldn't support it. I think they have a lottery or something with their
oh,
student body.
gotcha. Wow. That's
Are
crazy.
there, sorry, I feel like I keep like talking over you today. I don't
No,
know
same. I don't know what's going on with
what's
us.
going on. Sorry. Um, are there any like outside? So we have our big teams, which is very helpful because I'm definitely going to be putting them in my top C's with brackets. But any other like big team stories or players that we should be aware of besides our favorite father-son duo with the Duke team?
The University of Michigan does have a center, Lendenborg, if I butchered that name, sorry. But centers are always, I think, important in the game of college basketball because guards can be so hit or miss with their outside shots, but centers are right near the basket. Like you have to really, guard them closely or they're just going to be dunking over you all the time. So he's a potential name to watch. And then there's another player from BYU, Debansa. He is along with Boozer. They're the two favorites to win the Player of the Year award for this year. So he's I think another top three projected NBA draft pick. So he might be someone to watch. BYU hasn't had a very good season. I assume they'll be in the tournament, but he's someone to watch. And then a team in general is Miami of Ohio is currently undefeated. They're like 30-0 or something, but they play in a very weak conference, so no one's really giving them the time of day. But
Mm.
it'll be interesting to see on Sunday how the selection committee treats Miami of Ohio and where they might seed them. Are they going to give them a higher seed or just be like, no, your conference was so bad, you are still only going to be like a 10 seed or something, even though you might be undefeated. So that's something to watch. And then how will they play against some other established teams that have had stronger matchups and schedules this season?
Hmm.
Oh, I'm definitely going to watch that team. An underdog, like that's my type of story. I mean,
Yeah.
Duke, I'll root Duke for sure, but Miami of Ohio, I've got your number. That's a good little tidbit.
Yeah. I feel
One
like
other
they're good
team
at
I'm,
hockey too.
say it again.
I was just saying, I feel like they're good at hockey too. I remember always hearing about them.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
I think so.
See, I
Is
know something.
UConn good this year?
UConn?
I have a
The
friend who
men,
was big into who, yeah, there's a guy I used to work with is like a huge basketball person and is a huge UConn fan. So I feel like March Madness, I do think like how's UConn?
Mm.
UConn is a strong team this year. I think they're ranked fifth or sixth right now in the country, so they'll be up
Oh,
there. Yeah,
Sweet.
they could be another contender. But that's what makes March Madness so great is you get these random players who people have probably never heard of, and they can go on this incredible run, and all of a sudden they're like the most famous person in the country, and everyone wants to like follow them or
yeah.
and I think if a random team does well in March Madness, like the applications to that school like can skyrocket after that because
Believe
everyone
it.
just they're put on the map because of
Yeah.
how well their team did.
Yeah.
Do you remember there was that team? It was like a Cinderella story 12 seed team. It was a Florida team. I want to say it was like Florida something. And might have been like within the last 5 years and they made some random run, but they were like, they made it to the Elite Eight, something crazy. What was that? I don't
It's a
remember.
Florida Atlantic
Yes, something like that. Something
or
like that.
Florida Gulf Coast. No, Florida Gulf Coast.
Yes, that was it.
That's who it was. That was in 2013, so it wasn't that recent.
Whoa.
Time flies.
Yeah, wow.
Wow, if that is not a case in point of like, wow, yeah, I literally would have put money on it that I was like within the last 5 years. That's yikes.
Yeah. It's crazy to me like how much college sports, like I feel like college football is like this too. Like it's kind of subjective. Like there's just like a lot of people that like weigh in and like make there's no like official like scoring and ranking, which I feel like is weird. I don't know. Like do you think people get like corrupt in there?
No, I don't know if it's corruption or I don't think that exists, but I think that the selection committee definitely pays attention to who, what conferences are going to draw a lot of eyeballs. So they,
Mm,
especially in college football, I know they love the SEC.
yeah, that's
Like
fair.
they want as many SEC teams in the tournament as possible, and I think that's the SEC has become a stronger basketball conference now too. So that could be kind of trending towards college basketball too. They love the SEC and know that they have a strong fan base who will draw a lot of eyeballs to the broadcast. So will they try to fit in one more SEC team who might be on the bubble over maybe a few other more deserving teams just because they are from the SEC? So
That makes
that's why you
sense.
should tune in on Sunday night, just to see who how the bracket is going to shape up. That's Sunday night.
Sweet. Yeah.
I'm ready.
Is there, I don't know if this is a dumb question. Do they all play in like the same place?
No, so there's in the 64 teams, so 32 matchups in the first round. There's like 16 different sites, so like
Oh,
two games per site in the first round, then two more games the next round, and then they go to like another like four sites with the 16 teams that are left in the Sweet 16. They play the Sweet 16 in the Elite Eight in four different cities, and then that the final four is in Indianapolis, and the national championship is in Indy as well this year. So it
oh,
kind of, the first and second rounds, they like to try to put the top teams closer to where their school actually is, just so that fans can attend
it's
and,
nice.
maybe kind of give them a home field advantage if they can, home court advantage. But
Mm,
yeah, then it starts to break down regionally. And you'll see that in the bracket. They'll list where the four regional sites are. And then the final four is in Indy.
When is the first game?
it's like next week, right? It
If
always,
selection Sunday is this Sunday, it'll be, I think, like, the first round is March 19th, 20th.
Okay, next
okay.
So
weekend.
Also,
next
like,
Thursday.
can they put March
Thursday.
Madness like in March, not in like half April? Just saying. It's confusing.
No, again, because money, they want to extend the season as long as possible.
Blah, 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 blah.
Uh,
Okay, wait, last question. How's Villanova going to be? You don't like Villanova, right? But I have cousins on my other side that went to Villanova.
Are they big? Yeah, they're Big East. They finished third in the Big East behind St. John's and UConn. They're 24-7. So they should be up there. I don't know how they'll do in the tournament, but 24-7 in the Big East is a pretty good showing.
Mm,
And
so many
historically they're always
teams.
they're always pretty strong. So
Yeah, yeah.
well, this
Um,
has been a great like overview. I feel ready.
yeah. I know. Maybe we should do a bracket and we can like share our like top four or something.
I would
Probably be
love
all
to do a
wrong.
bracket. No, I have no one. Sounds sad. I have no one to do a bracket with, so I'm so excited.
oh gosh, you can join like any league on ESPN or Yahoo or CBS. Just do
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
Maybe
but then it doesn't feel like as competitive because you're just playing against like
No.
robots, you know?
Yeah.
I want to play against like you and Brittany.
Yeah. There's gotta be something at stake.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, definitely gonna try to go Clemson. I can't have Clemson lose first round, but like probably like maybe second round. But maybe this is the year I'm all in on Duke. Go
Yeah.
ACC, baby.
Go
My
Duke.
money's always on Duke. It's
It's a
just a
good
safe
bet.
bet.
You can't go wrong. Yeah. You can't go wrong most times.
Anything that we didn't ask you, Taylor, that you want to make sure you share?
No, I think we covered a lot of it, and just have fun with the bracket. That's what makes March Madness so great, is it's like total chaos.
Agree.
No one's won. I feel like heard this somewhere, and I don't know if we can verify it, but I don't think anyone has ever gotten every game in a bracket correct. Like I think
Oh,
statistically,
No.
no one's ever
They're
gotten a completely perfect bracket.
Yeah,
wow.
I forget what the odds are, but it's something like you're probably more likely to be struck by lightning than you are to pick all the games correctly. I think people have gotten really close, but picking those picking the first and second rounds perfectly is like an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe this year is our year.
Maybe
Yeah.
AI can do it.
Yep.
I believe in you, Britt.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much, Taylor, as always, for being in and for enlightening us in yet another sporting event. We will be back on Friday with a regularly scheduled program.
Make sure to like us, follow us, comment at us at snitchinpod on TikTok and Instagram. Go to our website, snitchinpodcast.com, and tell everyone you know about us. Thanks, Taylor.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.